Hi guys, this is Nevison Photography here. Today we'll be talking about pricing. Yeah, today we are not editing or anything like that, but we'll be talking about pricing. So photography and pricing, more specifically when it comes to wedding photography and pricing. So I want to talk about it from two perspectives, from the client's perspective and from the photographer's perspective. I want to start by saying a big thank you to everyone who has subscribed and has been watching our videos. Thank you so much. God bless you. And if you haven't subscribed and you are still watching this, please do that. It's totally free. You don't have to pay anything, but you help me a lot by just clicking on the subscribe button. Thank you for doing that. The first thing I want to say is that when it comes to your wedding, you need to see photography as an investment. I saw this on Zero Photography's page. You can check him out. He's a wonderful photographer and he speaks about photography being an investment. This is because after you are done with your wedding, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, those photos will still be there. Whatever price you are paying for those photos now, they might look expensive or not expensive according to who you're booking, but like in 20 years from now, those photos, they will hold so much personal value that if you didn't have them, you would wish you had them. This is how you should see it, that you are investing into your wedding photos and that your children and their children would have those photos one day and they would be looking at it and they will be able to also relive those memories. Not even just the children, you yourself, 20 years from now, 15 years from now, 10 years from now, you would go back to those photos and you look at them and you relive the moment, right? 10, 20 years from now, there would probably be some people, unfortunately, in those photos that might not be with us anymore. And those photos might probably be some of the most amazing moments that you had with them. So now, when it comes to the client's perspective, this is what I want to say. Whenever you're booking a photographer, don't just book a photographer according to the price that he is giving you. Book a photographer according to what he can deliver and the value that he can actually deliver to you. When it comes to your actual wedding, go for that photographer that you really want. I know it maybe the person's price is too much, maybe the person lives in America or all of that. What you should always do is to budget from 10 to 20% of your total wedding budget for photography and for videography. So let's say if you're getting married and your budget is 50,000 euros, then maybe you want to budget 5,000 euros for photography, and God willing, you probably would not get married again. And so it is an important day and you want someone who knows what they're doing. You want someone who has value and someone who can bring that value that they have on the table. Wedding photography can be quite tricky because nothing is stopping. It's on the run. You have to know what you need to do and you have to do it fast. You have to be someone who thinks on their feet. You need to be someone who sees the vision and knows exactly what they're doing. And so it is important to choose a wedding photographer that can really do the job. So I've heard of so many stories, so many horror stories of people who get married and they booked maybe the cheapest photographer and probably after a year or two they still don't have their photos. One, because maybe the photos are lost or the photos were damaged. And that photographer was probably not prepared enough to be able to store those photos properly. Most wedding photographers are not just photographers. They are there for you. They are there to listen to you. They are there to support you. That is why you need to book a photographer that you're on the same vibe with, that you're on the same wavelength with, somebody that understands your vision and somebody who can bring your vision to life. And so to end with the client's perspective, don't just book the cheapest photographer, but also don't book the most expensive photographer. Book the photographer that you want. Book the photographer that you communicate well with, the photographer that you vibe well with. Because your wedding day is a one-time thing. You probably will not repeat it. A question that you should ask yourself is that after all is said and done, what will you probably be taking home? You might probably take the bouquet home, but how long would that last? You might probably take part of the cake home. How long would that last? You wouldn't take any of the chairs or the decorations home. You wouldn't take any of those things home. But what truly you would be taking home, maybe you would take some of the food home, hey, who knows? But how long would that stay? What you truly be taking home would be your photos. end your videos. My cousin got married a few years ago, and I was the one who shot her wedding, and she told me that one thing she really loves is to go back and look at those photos, and the memory of her wedding day comes back to life. And this for us is a superpower that we have, and we can do this through photography and videography. When it comes to the photographer's perspective, one thing you should know is that photography is actually really expensive. You should think about the gear that we come with. So most photographers have 1 or 2 cameras, or even 3, because you always have to have a backup just in case something happens. Then we have multiple lenses. Most photographers have about 3 to 5 or 6 lenses, that they have in their bags. Now you have to think about all the SD cards. You have to think about all the external memories that they have to store your footage. When we then come home, we have the gears that we work with at home. I have a laptop here, and I have a monitor here that I work with, and all of these things are really expensive. If I tell you the price of this monitor, you would marvel, right? They're really expensive. And this is because we really want to maintain a certain standard, and we really want to give you that quality that you are looking for, right? And so the gears alone that we come with costs probably from 10,000 to 15,000 euros, or if not 20,000 euros. This is my website, and obviously it's something that I have to pay at the end of the month. There are subscriptions that we have to pay at the end of the month. There's the softwares that we use, they all have to be paid at the end of the month, and all of these are part of our pricing. You have to think about the amount of knowledge and the years and years of knowledge that they have invested into this. You have to think about the courses that they probably paid, or all the studies that have gone into this for you to have the photos that you want today. One thing that you should know is that this is an actual business. This is how we actually pay our rent. This is how we pay taxes. This is how we live. This is how we take care of our family. And so whenever you want to ask for a reduction of prices for the services that we are offering you, it's good for you to think about all of these things. But not just that. When you book a photographer for an 8-hour shoot, or for a 15-hour shoot, or a 12-hour shoot, it doesn't end there. They come back home, and it takes them, let's say, for me personally, it takes me about 30 to 50 hours, if sometimes even 60 hours of work. This is time that we love to spend with our families, but also this is our job, and we love doing our job. Because I love editing, and I find it to be very therapeutic. The amount of hours that goes into this is actually a lot, and most people don't know that. They think that when they book you for an 8-hour shoot, that's it, but it doesn't end there. When you're booking a photographer and they're pricing you, these are all the things that you need to put into consideration. Now, I'm not saying that you should go and pay huge amounts of money for your wedding. Always cut your coat according to your size. But like I said earlier, also know that this is an investment, and in the long run, you wish you had a quality photographer that can really deliver the work that you want them to deliver. I hope I didn't talk too much. If you have had any horror stories, share in the comments with me. If you have any other thing you would like to add when it comes to this topic, also share it with me. And my last question for you is that, how much do you think wedding photography actually costs on an average? Share with me in the comments. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. Subscribe, like, and follow for more. I'm gonna try my best to bring you more and more content. Like I said, it costs you nothing to subscribe, so please click the subscribe button right now. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. Peace.